Hello, good evening, and welcome to the holiday edition of NEWSNITE. In the next 30 minutes, Lands and Natural Resources Minister announces suspension of operations of the Ghana Manganese Company Limited over $300 million financial loss.
These and several infractions leave me no option as the sector minister than to close down the operations of GMCL until further notice.
We have details and hear from the Mine Workers Union. Also tonight, ECG and PDS Workers Union jumped to defense of embattled power distribution services, describing government suspension of its accounts and concession arrangement as unfortunate.
Apart from this animal of suspension, I don't think that overnight PDS will run away with the assets of ECG.
We have details as high-powered government delegation is expected in Doha, Qatar tomorrow to continue probe into alleged fraudulent breaches in PDS acquisition of demand guarantees.
And in business tonight, a financial consultant, Dr. Richmond Etuahin, describes the subsector approach to the financial sector cleanup as worrisome. We'll tell you why.
I want to join me with your views and comments. Feel free, send me a WhatsApp 0244 340437. My name is Evans Mensa. The Lands and Natural Resources Minister Kweku Asumacheme has ordered the closure of the Ghana Manganese Company Limited until further notice. The suspension of operations, which takes effect from Tuesday, 6th August, is because of the company's inability to fulfill its financial obligations, which has resulted in over $300 million loss of revenue to the state. Sometime in January, the Ghana Manganese Company Limited was directed to halt its mining operations to enable the state to undertake a thorough financial audit of its operations.
The findings have confirmed huge losses to the state. Additional royalty taxes due $12.8 million. Additional corporate taxes due $79 million. Loss of dividends declared $6.1 million. Additional revenue residing offshore for period 2010 to 2017. No transfer pricing audit performed prior to 2017. $259 million. The audit has also noted major infrastructural deficiencies as a result of GMCL operations. Primarily, road and rail infrastructures are stretched beyond capacity and are close to complete failure. Aside the findings of the audit report, there is also ample evidence of lack of compliance and circumvention of the local content policy or law following complaints to the ministry by local contractors. Ghanaian contractors providing services to GMCL are owned hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis, even though the company continues to expand its export of manganese. There are also defaults by the company in the payments of annual mineral rights fees in excess of $4 million. These and several other infractions leave me no option as the sector minister than to close down the operations of GMCL until further notice. The company is therefore instructed to stop all mining, exploration, and export of minerals effective 6 August 2019. That is from tomorrow. The ministry, together with the Minerals Commission and other relevant stakeholders, will immediately commence discussions with Ghana Manganese to resolve these and all other outstanding issues in the course of the shutdown.
We can now speak to the General Secretary of the Mine Workers Union, Prince Ankra. Ms. Ankra, thank you for your time here on NEWSNITE.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Ivan.
What do you make of this decision?
Well, Ivan, I'm taken aback because virtually we live in a world that you and I cannot play anywhere in the world if you own a business and be very unethical. I'm really a Ghanaian, and a Ghanaian that would receive mining receipts. being used judicially to fix all the critical infrastructure deficits that you and I know that I don't want to go into those specifics. So really, if the ministry has seen anything untoward, it's only fair that they come very strong on manganese. I believe that virtually very about some time ago they really took them on in a similar circumstance, and I guess they came back to allow them to do A, B, C, and D. So if along the line they still want to take our dear nation for granted, a nation doesn't breathe in, and even mining receipts have been very beneficial to big nations. In our case, it's a disaster. So, being a Ghanaian, I think that virtually the ministry might be up to scratch, and what they're doing is right. They are saying they're fair hearing, but it sends the right signal to multinational conglomerate that if they come here and they behave unethically, our nation will not spare them, And so, for me, it's a good signal. Let's see how events unfold, but it's something that I believe that we don't need to entertain it to any extent.
And how will this affect workers?
Well, these workers are Ghanaians, and even going back to minor infrastructure deficit. If you've been in Takwa quite for some time now, 2-3 years ago you were there, you saw the extent of the road, the mess in which it is. So if workers are virtually Ghanaian, I mean, I think we need to be really shift for any inward-looking personal agendas, The business has done something untoward. The nation has people who are really running the show, and it's also fair that they show leadership by making sure that they bring these infractions to order, and we can't get a repeat itself in the ensuing years. I'm sure that there are members. I mean, as long as I've heard the minister, I don't want to bias, but from what I've heard from the minister is evidently the case. Then workers might know that, hey, we've got a more Ghanaian than thinking about how your payers will be lying at the end of the month. I think that eventually, if experience allow and the truth will come up, then we'll know the sanction that will be meted at the management. It will serve as a clear deterrent to others.
Would you expect, now that it's been shut down, that the workers will be affected with paid compensation to go home? How do you expect that process to be handled?
Well, I don't expect that happening instantly. I mean, I think that manganese, as I said, I don't really buy out, but for me, I feel ashamed of this whole situation. So workers should remain calm. We've not been brought a picture. I don't have any bias, but I'm talking as a Ghanaian. And a Ghanaian that my generation, given what I read, what I've seen across national borders, I feel ashamed that I'm a Ghanaian and mining receipts have not benefited my dear nation. So when I hear this, my heart bleeds. So workers will be told to be very patient. Let's make sure that the nation, those who have been voted to rule, do what is right, so that in the end we can't get this repeating itself.
So the company has been shut down. What do you expect to happen now to those who may have been found culpable? And do you expect at the end of the process that the company will be back operating at full capacity?
Well, if there are infractions, and I think that the laws are very clear, we need to deal ruthlessly with those involved. And I think that for me, I'm happy about this signal because, as I said, this nation has been ripped off of mining receipts. The world had accepted that if we open our eyes seriously and have eager eyes, trust me, mining receipts will be a turnaround to our alien and struggling nation to a large extent. So for me, anybody found culpable will have to be dealt with ruthlessly. It sends a signal, a big signal, that you can't operate in a nation such as this. We allow all this tax concession, we allow everything to happen, and eventually we get screwed up. I'm really taking it back, but I don't have any bias. I hope that the ministry wouldn't lie to us. I'm sure the minister is an honest person. He's saying what is factual. He put it out there. If these are the infractions, it tells you and I that we've got to open our eyes in years so that these mining businesses wouldn't take us for granted. We are struggling. We're a nation that needs money to do many things, and we can't just be onlookers to look at things of the nature. You and I cannot do anywhere in the world if we find ourselves doing business in those environments. So our members might be very cool-hearted, and let's see how our dear nation and those who have been voted to rule will really deal with the issues as it is.
And very finally, is this a final nail in the coffin of the Ghana Manganese Company? Does this signal its death, or you are optimistic that the company will bounce back?
Well, if you deal with an unscrupulous business guys, I mean, it's only fair that you terminate the contract, whatever it is. Because if this is what they've done, and you caution and it repeats itself all again, it tells you and I that, look, these companies are not sincere. So for me, once the truth comes out, I mean, and obviously by the international relations that we have with them. If they are not being a sincere company, I mean, we want to make sure that we don't want anything crooks, in our country. The Chinese need money to really do what is great in their country. These are nations that are doing great things, all because they know how to get their money from here and there. So for me, if it is evident that something has gone wrong, even it's really a business relationship, as long as you are not being sincere, and if the rules or the game permit that they should do the dead ruthlessly and be terminated, why not? Man, another concern I do have about the Ghanaians on the board. Were they sleeping? Because you go to board meetings, these facts come to bear, and you see them factually. So what really were they doing? If they were the guys who get a tip off and it's been done, right, that's fine. But then it brings to fore the need to make sure that we have people who are put on a board to scrutinize, not to sit there and get benefit from board fees.
I'm grateful that you joined us, the General Secretary of the Mine Workers Union, Prince Anchor, reacting there to government decision to close down indefinitely the Ghana Manganese Company Limited over what has been discovered to be a $300 million revenue loss to the state. Now, the Public Utilities Workers Union has jumped to the defense of the Power Distribution Services PDS, describing government's suspension of its account as unfortunate. Government has suspended the ECG concession arrangement with PDS after it detected potential fraud in its demand guarantee, which was a primary basis for the agreement. The bank account of PDS has also been suspended, as well as the CID, as the CID continues its investigations. But speaking to Joy News, Michael Nyantechi, who is the General Secretary of the union that represents both PDS and ECG workers, questioned government's approach to dealing with the matter.
Couldn't we have taken our time and made sure that if the guarantee that has been provided is defective, can we give PDS time to rectify? Is there a possibility? But we are acting as if in a James Bond movie, if we don't do some subterfuge, everything is going to vanish into thin air. Apart from this animal of suspension, I don't think that overnight PDS will run away with the assets of ECG.
He called on the PDS workers to remain calm as they pursue the matter with government.
So workers are also in this state of confusion as to what is really happening. Now, are we workers of PDS? Are we workers of ECG? Who is really calling the shots or giving directives on what to do? All we have sent some messages to our members is to remain calm, focus on day-to-day activities. But for how long, since there are questions being asked?
Michael Nyantechi is the General Secretary of the union representing both PDS and ECG workers, the Public Utilities Workers Union. Let's do holiday business now. And there's a lot of business on the holidays, there not?
Yeah, there's still things happening as far as, the holiday is concerned. And coming up in business tonight, a financial consultant, Dr. Richmond Etuahine, describes the subsector approach to the financial sector cleanup as worrisome, and government has been urged to set up a special fund to support local tech startups in the country. And Business on NEWSNITE is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, and First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Ayede. Sabi gusu yusu mi mumu no. If you say MTN echimachedia no, edia to table. Brand new Samsung 65-inch UHD Smart TV. Na brand new 2019 Hyundai. And I feel 3,000 Ghana there. You should say mono. MTN Momo. Still, Misaka, the journey of 1,000 smiles. Yashasya 10 years ago. And to celebrate this milestone, MTN give you away exciting prizes in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Yeah, you use Momo no. You could win one of the 2019 Hyundai i10 cars. Yes, some Samsung Smart TVs for baby. And they up to 3,000 cedis e-cash every month. And a grand prize, 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Into signing on and they keep using your MTN Momo. Now when you big, if it's August, only on Ghana's best network. Dial *120#. Now check your points. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Hey, the Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us again. From the 1st of August to the 30th of September, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302 764 209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Honey, I need to get some.
But I don't have cash on me. Let me get some fuel quickly and let's go.
And how are you going to get the fuel? I thought you said you didn't have cash on you. What is this one?
My Puma card.
All it takes is a card. The Puma card allows you to buy fuel cash-free from all Puma energy filling stations. You can use your Puma card with any Visa points of sale and ATM across the country. The Puma card also works on mobile money. You get amazing discounts when you fill up with your Puma card. So register for free and get your Puma card instantly at any Puma filling station.
And you only got one for yourself, eh?
Yeah, would I have had my piece of mind?
Oh, thank you, honey.
And where are you going?
I'm getting something from the shop real quick. I need to test the card.
Puma card. Cash-free convenience. Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back, and let's go straight to our first story. And banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahine has described the cleanup in the financial sector as worrisome and the reason for the high cost of the exercise. Dr. Etuahine's comment comes on the back of reports that the savings and loan sector will soon be cleaned up, which is to bring the total cost of the financial sector cleanup to about 21 billion Ghana cedis. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Etuahine said a single approach to overhaul of the financial sector could have been better than the subsector basis.
And when they started the bailout, I said that they should look at it holistically. Holistically in the sense that when we're doing banking, we should have talked about the microfinance. We should have talked about the savings and loan. One time. You see, if you do the piecemeal approach, that is where there is a rundown. Currently, there is a rundown. Although they say deposits are going down, it is deposit moving from microfinance to the banks.
Sector.
I mean, no money is coming. It's the same thing, but because you didn't do it holistically and piecemeal, confidence has hit it. But you see, you're talking about $5 billion of the GDP. I don't know what the percentage, close to about 7 to 8%, isn't it? Mm-hmm. To spend this on people who have mismanaged especially those who have mismanaged their banks, and they are working freely.
Finance Minister would disagree with you and say this was the best way to salvage the situation, to save the economy, to save depositors.
Paul, I agree with you. Even it started that, I said the same thing, that you need to bail out. But in other jurisdictions, when you're doing the bailout, it is a holistic bailout. You forget about AIG. When the Americans wanted to do the bailout of Citibank,
yes,
they bailed the insurance people because AIG was the hub of all the mortgages.
Exactly.
So they bailed them out. For us, we thought that it's only the banking sector.
The hub of all that.
Exactly. You should look at it holistically and be very bold to say that we will need so much to do it. And when you do it, you clean it and clean it very well.
You heard the financial and banking consultant, Dr. Richmond Etuahine, there. Now, government has been urged to set up a special fund for tech startups to help revamp Ghana's technology and innovation space. Access to capital has always been a major challenge for these startups, despite government's interest in a digital technology. Speaking to Joy Business, the manager of the Accra Digital Center, Eric Ofusu Nkansa, said setting up a fund for the tech entrepreneurs will help expand the tech space.
What we are looking at is a dedicated fund which will focus mainly on tech, so that tech entrepreneurs wouldn't have to compete with people in other industries for funding to go about their business. Infrastructure is also very important. ADC alone has created about 2,000 jobs and onboarded 40 technology companies. So you can imagine how many jobs we can create. We have similar facilities in the middle part of the country, in the northern part. Government's intention is to set up similar facilities in Kumasi, Tamale, and Western Region, Takoradi, in the next few years, so that we can replicate the success of the Accra Digital Center and also create digital job opportunities for the youth in other parts of the country.
Manager of the Accra Digital Center, Eric Ofosu Nkansa. And that's it for business on NEWSNITE. Back to you, Evans.
Thank you very much. Now, families of the 3 girls missing in Takoradi are demanding an independent forensic analysis of human remains retrieved by the police from a septic tank in the suburb of Kansarodo. Now, a team of experts from the police CID retrieved the bones from the rented home of the kidnapped suspect, Samuel Uduteg Wills, who's been held in connection with the crime. According to the police, DNA from the bones will be compared to samples from families of the girls to establish if the remains are those of the victims. The family, however, doubts the police will carry out an impartial examination. My colleague Fifi Kumsin has more in the following report.
This is Joy News, and we're just having some breaking news coming through to us. Joy News.
That was the breaking news from the Takoradi suburb of Kansarodo. Human remains found in a cesspit. Joy News was there.
It's a flurry of activity here in Kansarodo. I am at the scene, the crime scene. Behind me, an uncompleted building. Now, just behind that uncompleted building is the last residence of Samuel Uduteg Wills. He is the prime suspect in the kidnap case that has captured the attention of the entire nation.
A security operation in the community discovered the skeletons. For close to 2 hours, the team ransacked an uncompleted building previously occupied by kidnapped suspect Samuel Uduteg Wills. The operation was led by a team from the Criminal Investigations Department and the Western Regional Police Command at about 7 p.m. Friday. The remains they took from the tank had significantly decomposed. Residents say the suspect had led the police to the location.
They joined me here, so we were sitting there observing what was going on. All that we saw was that they packaged something in a box and placed it in the pickup. But before then, they brought in the alleged kidnapper himself. So they were all there. We were not allowed to go to the scene until this morning that we are able to stand here and observe what they came to do. Yesterday, nobody was allowed.
Normally, I think that what he would do is to bring people from outside and not within the same community.
In a statement, the police said the remains would be examined by the Forensic Science Laboratory in Accra, where DNA samples will be compared with those of the families of the missing girls. Earlier, Alexander Koranchi, father of one of the kidnapped girls, Priscilla Koranchi, said they would await the outcome of the DNA tests.
It is not yet confirmed that what they found there is our 3 missing girls, unless the DNA test. I'll wait for the DNA test. When it proves to be that it is our daughters, I leave everything to the hands of God.
He however says the police should have carried out this operation earlier than they did.
Initially, if the police had done such a thorough search, they might have come to or unravel this thing for a long time. When we complained or we reported the case to them, it looks as if they didn't take any concrete action.
Mr. Crunchy says he trusts the police to bring closure to the matter.
I know Ghanaian police, they are good. If they say they will do it, I know they will do it. So if they say they will do it, they will do it. But I don't know why they have handled the whole thing in such a manner.
Sister of Ruth Kwasin, another missing girl, says the family does not believe the discovered remains are those of their loved one.
They told us that the girls are alive, so it can't be possible that their bodies are there and all that. So we don't believe that. My sister is alive, and we hope very soon, if they do their work well, we will see our sisters very soon.
She says she misses her sister and expects her back home soon.
I miss her very. She's the only one who gives me so many nicknames. She used to call me Okofokade. Used to call me.
At the weekend, the police met with the families to formally inform them about the latest development while the DNA tests are underway.
Well, meanwhile, Alexander Crunchy, father of one of the kidnapped girls, Priscilla Crunchy, says the family will no longer cooperate with the police in carrying out the DNA test on the human remains. He explains why.
After pondering over the whole issue, I've come to realize that I don't believe in whatever has happened, that my daughter is dead, and that the skeleton bones found in that manhole or a cesspit can be that of my daughter. One, the reason being no less a person than the Interior Minister, the Gender Minister, Mr. Brian Achampong. I don't know his status.
Minister of State in charge of security, national security.
Yes. And then Madam Tiwa, they all have confirmed to us that the girls are alive and they are in safe hands. That they are doing all that they could to go and retrieve them. So for them to turn around just some few moments to come and tell us that they have found some coughs, some bones in a certain manhole, we don't believe it. When the girls die, did the suspect kill them before he was captured and sent to jail? And if it happened before he was arrested, how come they were able to tell the nation that the girls are alive? So I don't believe whatever is going on. So I cannot avail myself to that DNA test they are going to do.
Well, Western Regional Minister Kwabena Ochre-Darko Mensah earlier told Kojo Yangsing that the police must be trusted to do a good job.
The police did some work before the guy actually pointed out to the second accused person. The police did some work before this third guy was arrested around Togo or something. So, naturally, some work has gone in. And therefore, it's out of this same work that they have to go to these premises and search the way they came to search. Because the first time, they were actually looking for live people. The search naturally will be different. If you are looking for a live person, you'll not be going into. But now, they've searched, put a lot of pressure on the guy to tell them a lot of things, for them to get at least 3 people who are supposed to be the main kingpins of the whole game. So naturally, new information has to be deduced. You cannot be giving the police old stories that you have given to them, that even they have even communicated system that has created problems for the communication wing of the police itself. So naturally, I believe that is part of the work they are doing. I believe that now that they've come to do this search and found some body part, let's give the police space to do the DNA and tell us whether it is what it is or it is not. Then we can move on. Because what I'm thinking in my head is that, so if it's not the children, it means that they've killed more people than we are taught. And that's very, very, very dangerous.
You heard there the Western Regional Minister, Ms. Ochre-Darko Mensah, speaking there to my colleague, Kojo Yangsing. Now, President Akufo-Addo has charged Ghanaians to recognize the collective efforts played by various individuals towards the liberation of the country from colonial rule. Parliament earlier this year passed the Public Holidays Amendment Bill that earmarked August 4 as the day to celebrate all persons who contributed to Ghana's independence struggle. President Akufo-Addo, who spoke at a Founders' Day luncheon for senior citizens yesterday, wants an end to what he calls needless controversy over Ghana's past. Here's a NEWSNITE report.
Kwame Nkrumah, later to become part of the Big Six, is not present there, is that at that time he was in the United Kingdom.
In one of many public speeches by top public figures, Speaker of Parliament Professor Michael Quay made a strong case against Dr. Nkrumah's enviable status as Ghana's founder.
And it is imperative to echo loudly that Nkrumah was not the founder of Ghana. I consider him one of the founding fathers, something similar to Paul, who was not there when Christ gave the Last Supper.
Parliament was later asked to settle the debate through an amendment bill. Government says August 4 is an important day because the Aborigines Rights Protection Society was formed in 1897, with the United Gold Coast Convention formed on the same day in 1947. Two events that set Ghana's nationalist movement in motion, leading to the attainment of independence on March 6, 1957. The opposition NDC in a statement says the day will no longer be celebrated once it returns to power. President Akufo-Addo, however, wants an end to what he calls partisan considerations in Ghana's history.
It is time we rose above partisan considerations, set the record straight, recognize the collective efforts in gaining our freedom and independence from colonial rule, reject the trivialization of our past, and do right by our history.
And that's President Akufo-Addo ending that report. And don't forget, the Habitat Fair is still on at the Achimota Mall, and it's just a couple of hours more for it to end. If you've not been there yet, you want to make your way there right now, because it's just 2 hours and it's going to close until the next mini clinic. Let's go there live now. Sheila, my colleague, is standing by. Sheila, I hear that there are some really juicy deals and people are picking it like hot cake. Tell us more.
Okay, so the Habitat Fair, as we know, was is basically a program by Joy News to help you find that dream home of yours, or help you construct that home that you desire, or an office, or whatever infrastructure you need to construct. So at this Habitat Fair this year, there has been quite a number of offers. Elegant Homes is a real estate company. They are offering 10% on individuals who want to purchase homes from them. Also, we have Superlock, who deals in locks and security door systems, and they're also offering 10% off everything that you purchase. And for when you do purchases for up to 10,000, you get a free door in addition. Similarly, we have other groups here like Interplus, which is also represented by some of its subsidiaries, Everlast and Innersply. And all these companies are offering various discounts and juicy offers, like you clearly said, Evan.
Well, and it ends in 2 hours, I'm told, at 8 p.m., correct?
Yes, it ends at 8 p.m. So in case anyone is listening and hasn't been there yet, you can still pass through this evening and try and get some stuff for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheila. So you know where you have to be to top up your holiday. It's the Joy News Habitat Fair. It's at the Achimota Mall, where all the juicy deals are. Make your way there now. My name is Evans Benson. Enjoy the rest of your evening.